Hello students, today we are going to have look at our new topic, that is proper usage and importance of punctuation marks. This is included in your English subject and this is a part of unit 4. We are also going to have a look at how this punctuation marks can be used in certain examples, and some of the basic or some of the most important punctuation marks are discussed over here. So without wasting much time, let's begin. The first punctuation marks that you all know is called period. You have known this as full stop or as a full point many of times when your teacher is teaching you in the school or in the college. So this period, full stop or full point, it has only one role, and that role is to end a sentence. Okay, sometimes in anger also we say let's put a full stop to this talk. So to put a full stop to a talk means to end a talk. So whenever you want to end a sentence, we use this particular punctuation marks, which is a full point, full stop, or period. So dinner was delicious, full stop. Next punctuation mark is question mark. Question mark, you know very well, it is used to ask questions. It is used to denote inquiry. When I say denote inquiry, means to ask certain things. Like for example, what time is it? I can use one more example, that is it raining outside? So I'm inquiring something, I'm asking something. So whenever you want to ask something, you make a use of question mark. And remember, once you put a question mark, that becomes the end of that sentence. So instead of ending it with a full stop and you are doing any sort of inquiry, don't use full stop but use a question mark. Okay, very easy this is. You have been learning this since your childhood. Let's move ahead. Next is exclamation point, which is also called exclamatory mark. This exclamation point or exclamatory mark usually used to end a sentence. Of course, this is basic, and it also denotes some excitement or emphasis. We have seen in many of the sentences exclamation mark is used, and this is used to show that the feeling that I am showing in this sentence is more than that is expected. It shows some kind of surprise, some kind of sadness, some kind of happiness, a victory, and so on. See, watch out for that tree. Supposingly, you are walking with your friend on the road and your friend is looking here and there and he is not attentive, and suddenly there is a tree that has come in front of him. You will shout, watch out for that tree. Now, why do you shout? Because you are shocked and you want to warn them. You are stunned. But then also you shout loudly and you show your excitement of concern. So that excitement is shown with not only the sentence and the words but also with the help of a punctuation mark. And the one and only one punctuation mark which shows this excitement is exclamatory mark. You might have seen other exclamatory sentences when you were studying in school, like for example, what a lovely weather! An exclamation mark, because this shows that there is something different, something good about the weather. So, an exclamation mark. There are some other interjections that are used which show exclamation marks, like for example, oh, this shows sadness. I never thought you will not get an admission. See, but remember here you can use exclamation mark either with the interjection or at the end. Okay, so that is the use of exclamation point. Okay, going to the next one, comma. Comma is most of the favorite punctuation marks because it is used very extensively by us. No doubt, full stop is the basic one, but you must know the use of comma. Using comma in your conversations when you are writing, it is obviously going to bring some kind of addition, good grammatical viewpoint, or your knowledge of punctuation marks very clearly to the reader. So this is what I do, and I also expect my students to do this. Make use of comma wherever there is it or it is necessary, because it gives a very good impression. Like for example, the very first point, denote a break within a sentence or direct address of a person or a group. That means whenever you are with so many people, or if you are chatting in a group or talking to so many people all together, and there you want to address any one particular person from the group, or there are so many groups and you want to address a particular group, how you are going to address them? Obviously you are going to call that person's name. If there is A, B, C, and D talking with you, and if you want to talk to C, obviously you are going to call C, like C, C. This is the matter. But what you are supposed to do, once you call the name of C, you need to put a comma like this. Here, the speaker is speaking to Mary. Mary, listen to me. He could directly say, Mary, listen to me. But it gives some kind of wrong information. It shows as if it is he's trying to say that Mary listens to him. So to avoid the confusion, it is better you say Mary and then comma. Then Mary will know that the next sentence, whatever is coming out of the mouth of the listener, is particularly addressed to him. So Mary, listen to me. Always remember, comma is also doing the work of a small pause. Whenever you are speaking a sentence, at that time, if comma is used, you need to have a short break at that time. If I say, Mary, listen to me, in contrast to Mary, listen to me. Yes, you will find a huge difference between both of them. So that is the actual difference. See, one more usage of comma, separate any of the following. So comma's work is to separate. Let us see what are the things that it separates. The first one, it can separate two or more adjectives. Adjective, you know very well, something that adds to the meaning of a noun or pronoun is called adjective. Here we are talking about he, that he is a listener. But what kind of listener? So he is a charming and attentive listener. So two adjectives are used here for the listener. That listener is charming and listener is also attentive. Okay, so if I'm using two adjectives, if I don't want to put an and, like he is a charming and attentive listener, I can also put a comma instead. So if you want to separate two or more adjectives, remember you can make use of a comma. Then next one, you know very well, if you want to mention items which are in a list, we put a comma. Please buy eggs, milk, butter and flour. Instead of that, we use eggs, comma, milk, comma, butter and flour. Okay, so to avoid confusions, to separate the things in a list, we make use of comma. Like for example, I like pasta, comma, pizza, comma, burger and french fries. Okay, the name of a city from the name of a state, yes, very important. Whenever you want to mention that you belong to a particular city, and with that you also want to add up that this city is included in this particular state, you may use a comma. Like for example, I live in Anand, then comma Gujarat. So if you want to separate the name of the city from the state, put a comma in between. Two independent clauses. The waiter still hasn't taken our order and the play starts in 5 minutes. Here you can say that there are two independent clauses used. One, the waiter still hasn't taken our order, and another is the play starts in 5 minutes. Now you are in a no mood to put a conjunction, or you are in a no mood to put them separately, but you want to join these sentences. You can definitely make use of conjunctions and it says use and, but with that you can also make a use of comma. Initially it was such that if you're putting a conjunction, it's okay if you don't put a comma, and people usually never used a comma when there was conjunction, because conjunction was doing the work of joining the sentences. But nowadays you can find comma and conjunctions both are very commonly used together. Okay, next is direct quotations. This you know very well that whenever we want to write a direct speech, you might have learned direct or indirect speech in your studies in the previous years. So when a direct and the indirect speech is joined, or when you want to show some kind of quotation, like for example, Lomo said. Now what did he say? It's given in inverted commas. But to separate this direct narration from the reported verb and the speaker, you need to put a comma in between as it is visible over here. Okay, so for direct quotation, to separate reported verb and the direct quotation, you need to put a comma in between. Okay, so this is the work of comma, and usually it does the work of separating. Okay, moving ahead, see, semicolon. Students usually get confused with the work of semicolon, how and where it is used. It's very simple. You need to have a very strong knowledge of clauses if you want to learn semicolons and other kind of punctuation marks also. Here you can see that there are two independent clauses given to you. That are, let's say, two sentences that are given to us. I asked Anne to look at my computer. Full stop. She has a knack for them. Full stop. Knack for them means she is good at it. She love to do such kind of work that is related to computer or is very skilled in that. So I asked Anne to look at my computer and she has a knack for them. I can put these two sentences differently. But these are two independent clauses. I want to join them by because they are related. That why I asked Anne. So the answer is in the next clause because she has a knack for them. So instead of using the word because, what I have used a semicolon. Okay. So if there are two independent clauses and they two are related as it is mentioned over here in the usage, you can put a semicolon to separate them. Okay. So next use of semicolon, which I want all of you should know in a very better way. And if you use such kind of punctuation marks in your writing, you will be termed or you will be called as a very skilled writer. See, if you want to separate a series of items, now series of items, if you want to separate, so what's the big deal? We can make use of it. We can use comma and we can do this work. We can put a comma and we can separate a series of items. But if those series of items are already having commas and still you want to further separate them, how can you do that? Just have a look for this example very closely. For our wedding colors, I chose white, the color of innocence, and then you have a semicolon over here. So for our wedding colors, here there is comma because they are talking about the wedding colors and then the wedding colors begin. So we have put a comma. Major part is this. There is a list of items. What are the series of items? The person is choosing white, is choosing red, and is choosing yellow. But everywhere you can find that the person has also given a description about those colors. I chose white, the color of innocence. So what is white? White is the color of innocence. And then there is a semicolon which separates this color with the next color which is coming. Next color is red, the color of passion. And there comes a semicolon. Now this separates from red to passion. You can see the part is separate from the white and also from the yellow. And yellow the color of lemons and everything ends over here. So you put a full stop. Now supposingly I don't use semicolon and put a comma instead. Just for the sake of example, let's see. Okay. So instead of a semicolon, I have put a comma. There is no error in the sentence. But here you will find that there are five colors now that are mentioned. I will say six. I chose white, the color of innocence, red, the color of passion, and yellow, the color of lemons. What do you come to know through this? That white color is chosen, another color is chosen, which is the color of innocence, a red color is chosen, another color is chosen, that is the color of passion. So we get confused that this is also an extra color, these that are added. So instead of this, put a semicolon and you will find that everything is well. You don't need to mention so many colors. You just focus on the three colors that you want and put a semicolon which separates one idea from the other one. I hope you understood this. Going to the next one. I have lived in Detroit, Michigan. See, I have lived in Detroit, Michigan. Now, some person is talking about a comma that we have seen already. That supposingly you are living at a particular city in a particular country or a particular city in particular province, that is state, how you're going to mention it. Now there is a person who has lived in three different cities which are in three different countries. Like for example, there is someone who has lived in Detroit, in Paris, and also in Sydney. So there is this confusing. You also want to mention the country. How you can do that? I have lived in Detroit, comma, Michigan, and then put a semicolon and going to the next city, Paris. And where is it? In France. Again put a semicolon and see Sydney. Where is it? In Australia. Okay, so very easy, so good, so far so good. Okay, so this is the way you can write. So wherever the commas are used, over there you can also make use of semicolons to separate a series or a list. Okay, I hope you are getting this thing very well. So let's revise again. We have seen how to use a full stop or a full point, which is used to end a sentence, question mark to find an inquiry, to denote an inquiry, to ask something, exclamation mark to show some kind of excitement, comma is used to denote a break within a sentence. Okay, to break a sentence, or when you want to address particular to someone, to a person, then it is used to separate various things like adjectives, items in a list, the names of city from the state, or names of city from the country, or state from the country. And when you want to join two independent clauses and want to show them that they are separate, in direct quotations, as you can see, between the reported verb and the direct speech. And semicolon, which was a bit confusing, but I hope now it's clear to you. It is used to separate two independent clauses, and also how it could be very skillfully used in commas. Supposingly you're planning to give some kind of IELTS or TOEFL exam, let me tell you, making proper usage of these semicolons will give you good marks. So this is it in this lecture. We will continue the same topic in the next lecture as well. Till then, study it. Have a nice time.